Happy New Year, Canada. We are so stoked. We're back here in the Canada studio, and we're here for our first big show of 2021. Hey, Junior.
Yeah, it's pretty excited to be here. I'm just below you, so I'm trying to make us level there. So, there
Well,
we
there's,
go.
there's
Yeah.
nothing there's nothing level about you, dude.
No, it's awesome to be here. First show of 2021. Super
Yep,
exciting.
yep.
Andre is going to be a fabulous guest.
He's gonna rock it, I think, eh?
Oh, it was good talking to him earlier. I mean, he seems like he's an
Yep.
adventure man.
I love it that he said we have a Canuck accent.
And a dialect. I've never been told I have a dialect before, but
I
that
speak
could.
me and us and our Canadianisms, we could really throw them off, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A for
Hey,
sure. A.
yeah.
We'll convert them. We're getting at saying A by the end of the show, I think.
I mean, we got to get this guy Canadianized, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
look, indulge,
I know.
submerse him.
Indulge in the anisms.
He's already submersed into Canada now. It's kind of,
It's too
he's,
late.
he's
He
too
can't go
late.
back. We can't go
Yeah.
back now. He's got too much Canadian in him. So here, what we're talking about today, there, Junior, is episode 38 of the A Travel Talk Show, a product of A Tourism Marketing Group, broadcasting live every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. PST from our base camp in beautiful Maple Leaf, Canada. Yeah,
Somewhere in Canada.
somewheres. We never tell you where we are because we don't even know where we are half the time.
And it could
And
change.
that could change. We like to travel as our guest is, which we'll get to in just a sec. But for all of you newbies out there, it's pretty darn simple. Who are we? My name is Greg Gerard. I am your co-host of A Travel Talk Show. I am the co-bro founder of ehCanadaTravel.com. I'm the 23rd ranked travel blogger, top 1,000 global travel bloggers by Global Rise as of last year. And I get a big kick out of being a small town tourism consultant. And next to me, the better looking, more smarter, and often a little taller, my brother, Colin
Mm.
Gerard. Maybe you could do a little intro there, dude.
The Cobro founder, is that what you said? I like that.
Yeah, the
That's nice.
co-bro
I'm the
founder.
younger Cobro founder, much younger and
Uh-huh.
youthful and energetic and all that stuff. I'm the keeper of the code, the head tech of ehCanadaTravel.com and co-host of this world famous, world renowned Canadian talk show.
You are. And before we get this thing rocking like a madman, like we want to hit this 2002 one off on a rock and start, I'm going to start it with a really nice little kudos announcement.
Mm.
Our website, ehCanadaTravel.com, in case you're a newbie here, let me just throw that up on the screen. Our website, ehCanadaTravel.com, was just awarded the best Canadian adventure vacation planner of 2021 by
Woohoo.
Lux Life Travel and Tourism Awards. What do you think of that?
Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. It is a woohoo. The woohoo moment, that's for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So it's safe to say, Colin, it's important that we welcome everyone to the best live show in Canada, proudly supported by your award-winning website, blog, and to boot, hosted by your local crazy Canuck, Junior and I. So we have a
Okay,
great
ouch.
show tonight, Call. We have a gentleman joining us by the name of Erlen Dur of Germany. Now, Erlen has a great story. And I reached out to Erlen and I said, hey, big guy, I want to hear your story. And I believe Canadians would be very interested in hearing your story. So, Erlen, he completed a 15,000 kilometer bike ride across Canada from London, Ontario to the great coast of Vancouver Island in Victoria, BC. And he did it in 190 days and he traveled the Great Trail.
That's impressive.
Well, hey, Call, you know the Great Trail. There's a lot of people that don't know what about the Great Trail is, right?
Where is it?
The Great Trail is really the Trans Canada That's sort of what it's all about. Trans-Canada Trail goes all the
Uh-huh.
way across the country, right? So to
Yeah.
put it in perspective, Erlen did this in 190 days, and me and you, because we're just a little bit on the hey, we'll stop here sort of mode, it took us 10 years.
We didn't exactly follow a direct route.
I think
We
we
were like
zigzagged the
all
country.
over the place.
Yeah, yeah. So we invited the big Erlen Dur on the show because we heard of his epic journey, right? We saw it on social media. I took a look. I did a little bit of Sherlock homing on the internet, and I said, "Hey, man, this cat looks pretty cool, and I really like his story, and I think Canadians will get a kick out of it." And I some of the things that caught, his attention. He's big on nicknames, so the Erlen Dur is his nickname, and he also has the gravel grinder and the yak. He calls himself the Rattler. So these are all just cool things, which I said, oh man, he calls his bike the Yak. I love that, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. I also call it, I think, with Erlen, one of the big things is it's always a good reminder to us Canadians walking around with our blinders off and we're used to our own backyards, and especially with domestic tourism, it's hitting a huge thing. Um, it's really nice. I think it's going to be really eye-opening when you get somebody with a fresh set of eyes
Hmm.
talking to you about your country, because
Hmm.
he's seeing things that we might all take for granted, and we're going, you know what? That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool to go see that, right?
Hmm. Hmm. I agree totally. And
Right.
he's been to many other places in the world too, which he can, compare to how beautiful Canada is. I mean, we just don't realize it being here.
Yep.
Even
And
now, like we haven't been out really on a good hike for how long? I'm
uh,
starting to forget how beautiful it is, and
yeah,
gotta get out there.
yeah. So just a shout out. Mary Jane says hi. Christine is here, and Kathy is here, and then Lori just joined us. Also, they're all here to see Andre. They're not here to see you, Colin. So just, chill out a bit. I mean, Andre's the show here, right? We got
Oh,
to make
yeah.
sure we make that through. So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Great Trail, aka Trans Canada Trail, aka the Canadian Trail, aka whatever they decide to name it next. But the point of the trail is on Erlen Andre, aka Andre, explored 15,000 kilometers along this trail. So he's going to have a lot of cool things to share with us. And for those who don't know the Great Trail in Canada, let me just give you a quick little synopsis of what our friend here encountered. It is touted, according to their website, the longest recreational trail on Earth, which is pretty cool. I think kudos to
Very
the
cool.
Canucks for that. It's
Yes.
registered online as 27,000 kilometers. It explores all 13 provinces and territories. Sections of the trail you can hike, backpack, mountain bike, paddle, cross country ski, snowshoe, horseback ride, and snowmobile. It's pretty hard to do the whole trail and carry all that along with you. So there's sections where you can only do certain things. On foot, they're saying if me and you said put on our old hiking gear and our hiking boots, it would take us 2 years to complete the trail if we hoofed it. Probably with me and you,
Wow.
it'd take us 20 years. But
Mm,
we're just
yeah.
saying on the average thing on that. The Great Trail officially became the home of one of the longest pedestrian suspension bridges in the world. That's located in Trail, British Columbia. The bridge is 305 meters long. It's suspended by a couple of 100-foot towers. The
Wow.
highest point on the trail is actually in Kananaskis country. I thought it would be more towards the Rockies, but it's in Kananaskis. And it's 2185 meters is the highest point of the trail. And if you don't know where Kananaskis is, that's right beside Canmore and just south of Banff, Alberta. In general, the Great Trail is broken up into 432 sections. So our friend here, Erlen, he did it on a mountain bike and or on a mountain bike. Yep. And he went and handled it and took it. And we're so stoked to hear his story here. And I'm
Hmm.
sure everyone that's joining us online is going to be just as stoked, whether you're joining us tonight or whether you're gonna click in and check us out down the road tomorrow on all our social media feeds. So hence why we were happy to have our friend on the show. But the big but, everything has a big but. The big but is we got to do our housekeeping first. We got to tell you a little bit about what's going on. So the A Travel Talk Show is recorded live, so things happen. Sorry, we don't control the internet. All we control is our lips and our ears, and our guests are on their own on what they have. So if this is live, it's crazy, it's fun, and if things go wrong, don't leave us. We'll be right back. The edited version or this version will be shared with you tomorrow, and we share it on all our social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, LinkedIn, and at the end of the month, we put it on our award-winning blog called Two Brothers, Two Feet, Two Curious, Two Canadian. Check it out on ehTravelCanada.com. It is a Skookum blog. And then we also put it on our new Travel Talk community, which is at 800 members strong and growing. This is where we have people around the country sharing their stories, their videos. It's a good place to hang out if you're an adventure addict, if you're a traveler, if you love the outdoors, hang out, meet people. And we're just growing that right now. And sign up today and do your part. Anything to add there, Junior?
It all sounds good to me, bro.
Excelente, excelente. So please follow and share. We are not a multinational, big corporation, heavily funded by the government. We are a small team, privately operated, and for us to continue doing what we love to do, promoting Canada and our small businesses that support us, it's important that you share our content. So please, 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 double please, cross your finger, please, cross your toes, please share our content. It means a lot to us. And believe me, when you do, we see who's doing it. And believe me, you're getting a big virtual hug from Junior and I when you do share our stuff. If you have any questions, when Erlen's coming on, and he's coming on pretty quick, when you have any questions, there's a comment section below the show on our Facebook page. Unfortunately, we can't be answering both on the YouTube, but you can contact us on Facebook during the show. And if you've got a question for Erlen, we will do our Canadian Canuckish best to put it on and let Erlen answer it. So we have a great show tonight, Erlen. Dur, or Andre Baumgartner from Germany. Erlen completed the 15,000-kilometer bike cross of Canada. It took him 190 days from London, Ontario to Victoria, BC. So because it's such an awesome time, we are going to bring, we might be the crazy Canucks, but we've got the crazy German. That's who we got.
Yes.
So we're related. We're a part of the crazy family. And we're going to bring our friend on, Erlen, right now. And please, everyone, put your hands together, clap hard for our special guest, Erlen Dur, who will be joining Junior and I right now. Right now, he's coming on. He is there. He is.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah, there
Erlen.
it is. There's the man.
How are you, my friend?
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
Excellent. Good. Thanks for coming on the show, big guy. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with you guys, and I hope we have a nice flow in the show. And yeah, let's talk about my trip.
Excellent. We because we honor the great Erlen Dur, we even created a background in honor of our guest. So here is a mountain bike wheel going down a big trail, and that is an honor. We are bonding. We're doing the mountain bike bonding and with our background. So Erlen, we're gonna have a couple questions, and we're pretty stoked on hearing what you got to do. And you got some people here saying hello, big guy. Michael Whalen says, "Hey, Andre," and we got Lori Freeman giving you a shout out. So here comes the Erlen Dur fan club, Colin.
Yeah, they seem to be flowing
exactly.
in.
These are my friends from Winnipeg.
Yeah, your friends from Winnipeg. So they're all here. So maybe we should just ask questions and let Erlen take over the show, and let the star be the star, and we'll go from there. So Erlen, we're gonna ask you a couple things. So maybe before we get going, maybe you can share us a little about who is Erlen Dur, and why did you decide on Canada this time for your epic cross country biking trip? Maybe give us a little background.
Yeah, right. So as you already introduced me, I'm Andre from Germany, and I'm traveling pretty much since 7.5 years now. And of course, I have been in Germany every now and then. And yeah, so I stayed in Canada actually from August 2018 to August 2019 with this working holiday visa program. It's mainly targeted to younger people to explore a country and work there and travel at the same time. And that's pretty much what I did the last 7 years in different countries. I started off with New Zealand, and then I went to Australia 2 times, and I went to Chile as well. So those are the countries where I applied and I got this working holiday visa. And other countries I visited as well, and I lived also in different countries. So yeah, I'm probably called like a citizen of this world now. And
Nice.
Canada was actually just the last option I had to get a working holiday visa. So usually it's just until 31, but Canada and Germany have this agreement that they can allow people with 35 to enter, and I'm below 35, so it was good. However, it was not so easy to get this visa, so you are kind of like in a lottery, and they draw your application, and I got lucky. It just
Wow.
hiked through Patagonia or through and in Patagonia in Chile and Argentina when I decided to apply for that. I had no internet there, I couldn't really provide all my documents. I just had my cell phone. Like, damn, so how can I do that? But I managed to do it kind of, and got this visa and decided, well, then let's go to Canada, right? And yeah, as I said, I came here 2018, and I already had a job in the pocket, because it's the last visa I can get where I can legally work somewhere, and so I wanted to use that visa in the best way. So I said, well, no traveling. Let's work my ass off and maybe do some traveling afterwards.
Excellent. And we're pretty stoked to have Andre as a honorary Canuck, don't you think, Cole?
It was a wise choice.
It was a wise choice of our government to
Yes.
let you in, buddy.
Yes, it was.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. However, it's like I didn't actually plan to travel Canada at all. I wanted to go maybe to Mexico after Canada, but I kind of. Are you still listening? Are you still hear me?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw a post of a guy in a Facebook group posting a road trip map, what he wanted to do by car through whole Canada, and I got inspired. I said, well, I mean, if this guy can do it by car, I might as well just do it by bike, right? And
Yeah.
so, but my visa finished, my visa finished in August 2019, so I had to leave, and I didn't want to cycle through the Canadian winter because I knew it can be really harsh.
Yeah, a little chilly.
And I decided, well, I don't want to go back all the way to Europe and Germany, so what's the next country from here beside the States? Okay, it's Greenland, but they have only ice there. So I went to Iceland. It
Nice.
was okay. So I did a little bit touring there. It's not the easiest country, though, to tour, but I got my first experience in touring, and in March 2020, before all the international flights got suspended, I returned to Toronto, and in March 12th, I started my trip. So
excellent. So Laura and Cindy are also giving you a shout out, and I see a lot of love here for Andre Colin on our screen, but I don't see any love for us yet. What's wrong with these people? What's going on?
We're not from Winnipeg.
That's my fan club, man.
Right on. That's good to see.
It is good. So, Andre, you traveled 15,000 kilometers across Canada. That must have been a lot of communities you visited, a lot of small ones, large ones that you've gone through. It sounds like it was a biography of epic scenery and a lot of camping. Maybe you could share with us a bit about some of your most memorable communities and why they struck a chord.
Yeah, I was thinking quite a lot about this question, and I probably forget to mention a few communities because I'm still overwhelmed by the trip and with all the photos and videos I took, so I haven't had the time to go actually through all those.
Yeah.
But I think I remember a few. For example, the north coast or the north shore of Gaspésie. There are many small little communities and kind of like fishing coastal villages, and it's just gorgeous. It's those little tiny villages, they just have a general store and a church, and that's pretty much it. But it's just lovely, you know, this whole landscape and this communities. It's just super nice.
Yeah.
Other communities on my trip, for example, in Ontario, would be Follier and Chapleau.
Okay.
This are very small, tiny villages. How can I explain? Somewhere in North Ontario,
Mhm.
and I decided to go through those. It was actually not my plan to go through those communities. It's just like I met two Ontarian brothers on Gaspé who said you should go around Lake Superior, but I was already very high
Yeah.
in Ontario, so I had to decide. Well, I should go down to Sault Ste. Marie, and in order to go there, I just went through those little communities, like Follier and Chapleau, and they're pretty isolated, and that's charming. You know, they're isolated, and it's just in the middle of the forest. A lot of black flies or mozzies around, but that's how you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them. They have just this general store as well, and you get to talk to people, you know, because you're probably the only tourist, especially in 2020. And so I really met a few people there, talked, and that's pretty nice. What I like on the trip.
Mhm.
Other communities would be, for example, the smaller town called Ibro. Ibro in Saskatchewan, I think. You would think it's not really special, but if you cycle the whole day and you just like reach this small little village where it's literally just one street and a few side streets, and they still have this old buildings with this fake facades, you know,
Mhm.
and
Nice.
they have a small little campground there. It's just lovely, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what
Perfect
more?
end to a hard day's journey.
Oh, exactly. I met also a nice couple there from Moose Jar, so they just like invited me for a beer and made me a dinner. You know, it's like that's great, you know.
So you find people really friendly in general?
Oh, oh, sure. I mean, I haven't had any bad encounter or anything dodgy. You know, they're
None.
literally
Wow.
everyone, even though it was 2020 and everyone wanted to keep distance, you know, but in general, the people were super friendly and let you camp at their front or back lawn, and even let you in sometimes in the house. You know, it's like because you're a cyclist, you're self-isolating pretty much the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely
Well,
very friendly people.
a shout out to you Canucks out there who treated Erlen well. Way to represent, man.
Well, we got to be proud to be Canadian. I mean,
I mean, way to
most Canadians
represent.
are pretty
Yeah, I don't want to
good.
hear. I love hearing about how we treat our visitors and how we treat other people because during this time in the world, I think that's becoming more and more special on
Yes.
how we treat each other. So kudos to you Canucks out there. Way to represent, right?
Uh,
Uh, Hey, Andre, you did a lot of camping too. Based on the photos I saw, you've got quite the camping rig on the Yak,
The
and that you
yak.
got there. The Yak. I love that name.
That's the
I
mountain
love
bike.
that. Yeah,
That's right on.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
did a lot of camping, and what were some of your best camping experiences? What are some of the things that happened while you're camping that we can laugh at? So what are some of the memories that you're going to take back with you? I mean, if we let you go back, I mean, I think you're pretty much stuck being a Canadian now. But if we
sure.
let you go back, you know, what were some of the camping stories you got?
Well, camping stories. I just counted the days I actually camped, and it was like 119 nights, so pretty much
Woo!
3 months.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I camp pretty much every day, except in bigger cities where I try to find hosts because bigger cities might be tricky to find a place to camp, you know, and it's dodgy. And you might run into some truck addicts or whatever strange people. It
Yeah.
could happen in big cities, you know.
Yeah.
But smaller communities, even villages, I tended to camp sometimes on baseball fields, you know, and in their dugouts, which became actually my most favorite place to camp because it's sheltered and you have a roof and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
Right on.
yeah, And
Go ahead.
also on the trail, especially if you stick on the trail, some communities build nice shelters, especially Quebec. So that's I have to give a compliment to the province of Quebec, because they're like La Route Verte, this provincial cycling network, and also like the Trans-Canada Trail, which leads through Quebec. There are many small little shelters. Sometimes it's just a roof. Sometimes it's really like sheltered from all sides. So even if it rains, sometimes you don't even have to pitch up your tent. You just sleep in the shelter on the ground, and that's the best in my opinion.
Nice.
And yeah, some funny stories when you camp. It was a thing in Farnham. I just finished that video on YouTube where I talk about that thing. I just camped there. I just did cowboy camping, and which means I'm sleeping only in my bivvy on the ground. And I was washing myself in the local river there, like naked, of course. And I'm not so really prudent and just like, oh, I'm alone. I have to use my bathing pants. Just jump in the river, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
And
we've all done
there
it.
was, and there was a couple coming, there was a couple coming with their dog, they were looking at me, and I was like waving my hands. I was full on naked, and I was like, well, good evening, guys.
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
So
the water
you're
is cold, you got nothing to worry about.
You're literally caught with your pants down, huh?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm not even going with my pants into the water. I'm really naked.
Yeah.
But it's fine. No one says anything, And I really like the camping style because it gives you ultimate freedom. It's tricky though as well, because you always need to find a suitable spot, and it's sometimes a little bit nerve-wracking when you're at 6-7 p.m. and you're like, oh shit, it's getting dark soon, or maybe you want to search for a camp spot and you can't find anything. But I always found something, and that's the beauty of it. I really became an expert in finding suitable places, and that's what I really like, and that's challenging, but also it kind of I can say it gives you a lot of experience. You grow with that.
Yes, life experiences, right?
The amount you learned and changed during your trip must be phenomenal.
Yeah, and
you reduce your daily life to the basics. Like where can I get food? How can I make food? What I'm going to eat tonight? The most important thing, where I can get drinking water, and but that worked out pretty well. I mean, I was pretty tough, let's say, with water. I mean, I drank water out of rivers and lakes, and I didn't care about purification or something. So luckily, it didn't go wrong. But most of the time, I try to get water somewhere, from locals or from a shop. So, but yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. In the beginning, you think like, oh, I don't know how to do it, but then after a while, you just like, no one's helping you. You have to make it. You have to make it happen.
Yeah. So Ronald Gregoire says hi. Lori Freeman says hi. Kathy Van de Sink says, hey, what months of the year were you in Ontario?
In Ontario, I started mid-March, and I cycled 8 days long to Ottawa, Gatineau. And so this was pretty much kind of like the end of the winter, but when I reached Gatineau, I was thinking like, oh shit, it's still a lot of snow there in Quebec and so much ice on the trails. And so end of March, so let's say like 20th of March, I decided to pause my trip because it was not possible to continue. And also, as everyone knows, the pandemic was pretty real in March and April. So, and then the second time I went through Ontario was then when I resumed my trip. I went through Ontario, let me think. Must be sometime in June or July. I went through North Ontario around Lake Superior and then towards Manitoba. But I'm not so 100% sure, but it might have been June. Yeah.
Okay. And Veronica here is giving you a shout out. Hello, Andre.
Oh,
Again,
that's all.
a lot of Andre fans here, not one Greg and Colin fan.
I
Yeah, those
noticed
are all
most
my
of them are.
friends, man. Those are all my friends
We're
from
getting
across the country.
overrun, Colin. We're
Well, I
getting
noticed most of
overrun.
them are female there, Andre.
Yes. Good point.
There's
Yeah.
Ronald Gregoire, great
No,
name by the way.
Yeah. So,
they all have partners. You know, they all like older than me or have partners. So
yeah.
it's not no potential partner for me.
Well, hey, I bet you, and that's a nice thing is no matter what species you are in Canada, we can all be friends and treat each other with respect. Remember, let's treat each other with respect out there. Hugh is also giving you a big see ya, bud. He's got BUD, see ya, bud. Mr. Hugh, I think it's Lintick. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but he's giving you a shout out also.
Yeah, I know
So,
all those guys, all the whole hosts of mine who hosted me across
Nice.
the country, and I just told them I'm speaking here in your show, and they're here now. It's my fan club, my groupies.
groupies. Hey, all of
Yeah.
you who have joined us here with Andre, thank you for treating him very well, including our American friends who are staying in Canada, aka Lori Freeman. So again, please thank you very much to all of you on representing. Way to represent. Andre, Canada is the second largest country in the world. The longest distance from east to west is around 5,500 kilometers from Cape Spear to the Yukon. The longest distance north to south is Ellesmere Island to Middle Island in Ontario. So my question is this: Canada is so massive. What
Oh
did
yeah.
you think about our Canadian wilderness, wildlife, and scenery? And maybe you can name off some of the most epic scenery and what really embedded in your head. What scenery really made an impression?
All right. I mean, let's start with the wildlife, and I have to be honest. People would think like if you go through the backcountry of Canada, you might encounter wildlife every day, you know, but it was actually not the case.
Yeah.
I saw a few moose and deer all from the distance. Deer in Ontario, moose in, for example, in the Charlevoix region in Quebec. I also saw a black bear on Gaspésie and a porcupine. And I didn't see the white moose though in Follier, so they are
Yeah.
pretty rare and pretty
They're
unique.
Very.
And but I bought a postcard, so I at least I know how they look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
So so
yeah,
not
I
as
saw
much
a
as you
few
expect, like not
more.
a daily.
Pardon, say it again.
I was just saying, so not as much as you expect, not a daily encounter or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I
As
thought
far
as
as
well I
wildlife.
might see more. I think I thought I see more wildlife. I mean, if you count those millions of black flies or mozzies as as wildlife, then I saw a lot. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
apart from that, okay,
So,
I saw two grizzlies in the Kananaskis.
whoa,
Nice.
that's
So
nice.
yeah, I was not so super stoked because I almost shit
That's
my
scary.
pants.
Yeah.
So I was just like starting after my lunch break. You know, it was like in this Kananaskis Lakes region. There was this campground, and everything was closed because of I think it was off the season already. And I started on this cycle path, and all of a sudden I saw those two massive bears in the bushes feeding on berries, and they were just like looking at me. I was looking at them. Then they were standing
Yeah.
up on their rear legs, and they were like mumbling something in their bear language, which I obviously don't understand.
No way. Wow.
And
Yeah.
then they were just like turned around and walked away, and my knees were shaking for half an hour, and my
Yeah.
my heart was racing.
Yeah.
And I knew that you have to make noise, which I usually also did, but right
Yeah.
after lunch I just didn't do it. And after my encounter, I started talking very loud to the imaginary bears in the bushes,
Yeah.
and I actually recorded all my nonsense talking in a kind of like podcast style.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's
Nice.
pretty funny to listen to it afterwards. But it's all in German though, but it's still pretty funny.
Yeah.
And
We're pretty good. Anyone who likes the outdoors, we're really good at talking to ourselves.
oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So
the sceneries,
Veronica here says something about a mosquito trail in Lorraine on Cochrane. Do you remember that?
the mosquito trail. Oh yeah, of course, it was from La Sarre, not Lorraine. Probably it was a typo. From La
Yeah.
Sarre to Cochrane. It went above the Apatipiti. What was the lake over there? Oh, I can't remember. It's a
Oh,
weird
I'm
name.
sure Veronica's going to tell us right now. I'll give her a sec. I bet you can
Probably.
tell us.
Yeah, from La Sarre over to Cochrane, I took a very unconventional dirt road, like 2 days through the like forest kind of. And yeah, there was tons of mosquitoes as well. And but
Yeah.
I survived it. You know, I had a head net and I put my rain gear on, so there was no way that they could sting me.
Yep.
And but you asked
it-
about the sceneries, right?
Yep.
So let's think. Yeah, one scenery, of course, Gaspésie. What is this? Abitibi. Exactly. Thanks, Veronica.
There you go.
I still can't pronounce it right. So what do I want to say? Yeah, of course the whole Gaspésie is just beautiful with all the coastline, and other scenery would be, for example, the Grey Creek Pass, and it was, I think, still in Alberta, or was it already in BC? I think it was in BC. The Grey Creek Pass was the only high pass I actually, after the Elk Pass, which I did on my trip, because in BC the trip goes on the trail goes on the rail trails, so it kind of avoids passes. But I slept on this pass up there as a small little recreation site, and in the morning I went up to the northern summit to catch the sunrise, and oh my god,
Nice.
it was just mind blowing. You wait there for half an
yeah.
hour. It's cold, you know, and then slowly it was beautiful night though. It was like no cloud or nothing, and then the sun is slowly rising, and you look in the other side, and the sunbeams hitting the other mountain face, and it's like, oh my god, that's why I'm doing that. You know?
Nice.
It makes it all worth
Nice.
it, right?
Of course, definitely, and I'm really happy that I got this chance to cycle your country, because there were so many places I can't even put in this show now because it's just too many, and
So we
but
have to
there's
invite you
still
back, is what you're saying.
maybe I can make another show.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Let's go on to the next question we got for you there, big guy. It took 190 days. I mean, that's motoring. A big chunk of Canada in 190 days. Uh, as we've said on numerous shows here when we're talking to our guests, Colin and I were sort of like the snail pace. We took us 10 years, and we really blew that one out of the water. But you, my friend, did it in 190 days, and you met, obviously, your fan club has joined us, so you met a ton of people along the
Lots of
route.
friends.
A lot of friends. So what did you learn? What did you know before you arrived about the people and places in Canada? I think we just lost him, buddy.
Ah,
Okay.
ah.
So this is where we put our online, real, true hosting abilities to work.
Oh yeah.
With
Yeah.
when our guest has internet, and he'll be back in 2 seconds, I guarantee you. But I'll ask you, Colin.
Oh, okay.
What are some of the places were you impressed across Canada? And here he comes. He's right back at her, our buddy. And as soon as
Oh,
he
I'm off the
comes
hook.
in, he'll be here. There he is. We'll bring him back in. And like we always like to do, it's been a pleasure. And here comes the big guy. He will be
Oh,
there.
hey,
There he
Andre.
is.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm back.
Woo! Excellent.
Good.
So
Can you
what
repeat
were
the
some of the
Can you repeat the question?
Yep. Yes, sir. What did you learn, and what did you learn about us Canadians, and what are some of the things that make us Canadian that really stood out to you?
Whoa, that's a tough question. What did I
Besides our
learn about you
accent.
guys? The accent. Although I haven't had the chance to actually listen to the Newfie accent, I know it's pretty strong accent over there.
You gotta go to Newfoundland.
But I will definitely go, and it's already in my pocket, this plan, and I just have to wait for better times, and then I'm going there. What I learned about you guys, it's a really tough question. Definitely, you are
Want us to give you
very
hints?
friendly, super friendly folks, and it doesn't matter in which province or territory you're going. It's just you always meet incredibly friendly and generous people, and they just invite you for this. And one guy in Ontario even paid me a hotel and gave me money for for a dinner. It's like, what the heck? It's like crazy.
That is super.
Right on.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
cool.
it's just like,
Hey, what's
I'm
this question? I got a question here I'm going to throw up there on the screen. And it says, did you ride the ehOT station in Grand Forks, BC? It's from Kathy Vandesite.
I don't know her personally, but I went through Grand Forks, that's for sure. ehOT station might be the name of an old railway station, which is on the way. I can't really recall, but I think I might have gone through that. The ehOT station might be on a pass there. Yeah, I think I went through that, yeah.
Okay, good. There you go, Kathy. The great Erlen Dur passed through your backyard, and he took a little boo at Grand Forks, BC. So, if you haven't noticed here in Canada, Erlen, we're pretty stoked on our waterways and all the water that we have here. We have 3 coasts, coast to coast to coast, 151,400 kilometers of coastline. There are rivers like the Mackenzie. It's 4,200 kilometers long. It's the longest in Canada, 13th in the world. Then there's our 31,000 lakes, second largest in the world, Lake Superior. And let's not forget a big thing for Junior and I, Call. We love waterfalling, and there's 1,700 of them here in Canada. And right near where you're hanging out there, our friend, is the tallest one, which is the Della Falls, which is a 440-meter drop. And that's a big one. So my question's this: what rivers, lakes, oceans, or waterfalls impressed you most on your journey, and why? What when you woke up, what water, what type of water love did you get?
I'm still a freshwater guy, so I'm still like freshwater.
Yep.
You already mentioned Lake Superior, which I made a detour with. So it was really stunning to cycle along the coast of Lake Superior.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
What many of you guys will probably surprise, but my most favorite place is a waterway in Canada, and it's the Qu'Appelle River in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
And
right on.
I give you a short explanation.
Yeah.
I just give you a short explanation why, because many people would think like, what's so special at that river? And I mean, I started on that day from Melville, a town in Saskatchewan. It was a hot day. You go 4 hours on gravel roads. You eating dust all the time. You sweat the hell out of you, and then all of a sudden you reach this like this cliff or this edge of this huge valley, which you didn't know it exists, because on your map it's just a green band and with a river going through. And it's like, well, I don't know what it is. And then you're just there and just look in this valley like left and right, and it's like, it just blew my mind. I stayed there over half an hour just enjoying the view, and this very calm oasis actually was it, because everything is dry after around it, and then you have this green valley where this river snakes through. And it was just peaceful, because you didn't hear anything, especially at the place where I entered that valley. There was just maybe a tractor down there and a few cows, but that's it. And another waterway would be probably like the Red Deer. What was the Red Deer River Valley close to Drumheller? I really enjoyed that for the same reason, because it's a very interesting valley in the Badlands of Alberta. And what else? The Elk Lakes, actually. The Elk Lakes right at the border of Alberta to BC. They were pretty picturesque. And I think, was it my birthday I was there? I think it was my birthday when I just woke up in the morning in this provincial park and I went for a hike to the lakes. It was just gorgeous there, And I took a bath actually in those lakes too the evening before, and it was freezing cold.
What a great birthday!
Yeah, I really like your waterways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was actually pretty nice. Especially, I mean, I camped with 5 girls, so it was pretty cool.
There you go.
Right on.
There you go.
Right on.
So say for instance, you met somebody on your journey and they're not from Canuckville or Canuckland or Canucktropolis. Say they weren't here and you wanted to explain to them about visiting Canada. What advice would you give them?
Advice. I mean, I only can speak from a cyclist view. And many people who would especially come to Canada would be probably going for a road trip or something. But I would generally say the people should take their time and don't try to squeeze too much into a short holiday duration. Yeah. So if people only have 2 weeks time and they fly in from somewhere else from the world, they should not try to cover, let's say, 3 provinces and try to catch everything on the way. So I had to learn that on my way as well, because my trip was actually more ambitious in the beginning. So I wanted to do everything in 4 months, including the Maritimes. So I'm pretty lucky that it didn't go that way, and I actually took my time, and I stayed at a place when I liked it there, when I liked the people. I just stayed a few more days, and of course, if you just are in Canada for your holidays for 2 weeks, you can't do that. But still, you should just enjoy a small region, a small area, and maybe not only go to the Rockies. So the Rockies are pretty popular and everyone knows them. Maybe try to go to another location. Quebec, for example, has a lot to offer, and even the prairies. The prairies are so diverse. Many people would not think of that because they just think it's just grain and canola and just like dusty highways, But it's definitely not.
That's great to hear. That is the common misconception with like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and they're beautiful provinces. As long as you get off the main route, there's so much to see, and you're not alone with your intentions. Most people come to Canada and they're going to do all these things in a short time. They don't realize. I mean, it took us 10 years and we still didn't see it all.
Well,
I mean, we could spend another 10 years and go to different places. I mean, it's nuts.
It's on my calendar, dude.
Yeah. I might spend another half a year to go through the Maritimes. It's one trip, and once I'm already here stuck on the West Coast, I might just wait until spring hits the West Coast and maybe cycle to the Arctic Ocean, because this kind of trip not many people do, and especially cyclists are mostly going from east to west, and there are just a handful of cyclists maybe going to the north. Well, might as well just do that, and just
Colin, it's funny he mentions that because, in between the first wave and the second wave of COVID, there was a break where we could go traveling. And we got what we call the Maple Leaf RV. It's all maple leaves all over RV, and it's a big maple leaf going down the street. We actually took it to all the way up the north to Dawson City and then up to what's called the Dempster Highway. Right?
Got to do the Dempster Highway.
Dempster Highway.
Yeah. That'll be an awesome biking trip.
But is it not an ice road, or is it also available during?
It's all gravel.
Oh, it's gravel. All right, that's perfect. I mean, I'm experienced in gravel.
And they've just opened up.
Oh, sorry, Carl.
I was going to say they just finished up the final portion of the highway where you can get to the Arctic Ocean. You couldn't even get there before.
Yep.
So I mean, you'll be on a road that's very traveled by very few.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be
Awesome.
Another,
amazing.
So
I mean,
that's
that's a trip.
that's a very good
yeah,
point.
Like Greg said, we just went and we want to go again
yeah,
and go all the way
Awesome. Yeah.
next time. Like COVID kept us from going all the way, and
yeah. We weren't
yeah.
allowed into the Northwest Territories at the time, so we went all the way to the Arctic Circle, but we couldn't
Mm.
go in. We couldn't
Yeah.
do the last bit into Northwest Territories.
Yeah, I know. That's unfortunate. But we have to wait until it gets better times, and then we all can
Mhm.
can go explore Canada and the
Yeah.
rest of the world again.
Yeah. Make
Another,
sure you take a dip in Summit Lake.
yes,
You
yes.
got to go swimming in Summit
Uh,
Lake.
It's pretty freaking cold.
Yeah.
I
Part of
wouldn't
our
know.
yeah, well, I mean,
we
so
got videos
it
on the whole thing which you can check out, and you know, it was quite the adventure.
Yeah. Hey, they're
okay.
saying
Audio
here,
page.
Kathy and Lori here are talking about you made your bike yourself.
Yeah, so when I was volunteering in this bike co-op in London, Ontario, um, I became very good friends with the people there, and I built up my bike from scratch. And my first bike sadly got stolen 3 weeks before I went to Iceland for my trip, so I had to build
Oh,
up one. And the new one I have now, it's not a new one, but it's just the new one after the other one. And I called it Rubicon, and for a reason, because when I took this bike to Iceland, I kind of crossed my imaginary Rubicon, and there was no way to return. So not literally, but you know what I mean, metaphorically speaking. And yeah, it's actually just a normal Norco mountain bike frame, very simple, no shockies, and I just built everything out of secondhand parts. I wanted to reuse things. That's kind of like my lifestyle, and using things as long as I can, or reuse things. So the whole bike was made out of used parts, and that means also you have to put a lot of maintenance in there, and many parts break along the way, which you will see in my videos because I will feature those broken parts on
Nice.
video. And flat tires, I had countless flat tires. I got one very heavy one, so where actually the tire exploded, and I didn't have the spare tire. It was on those 500-kilometer stretch in North Quebec, and I was like stuck.
Ooh, yeah.
Shit, what should I do now? I had to hitch a ride with a car. I have only 3 cars in 3 hours. I got like
Wow. Wow. What
yeah,
an
I got
adventure.
countless tires.
Where'd the name the Yak come from?
Oh, that was an invention of my nonsense talks, which I had in the Rockies and in the Kananaskis mountains, because the yaks were used in Nepal or in the Himalayan region to cross the mountains, with they're fully packed with stuff on left and right, and I was feeling like that. I felt that my bike Rubicon looked like a yak, like bringing me over the mountains. And I just stuck with that name, and Gravel Grinder, the name, it just like gave my bike, because I'm pretty much 75% on my trip I was on gravel roads, so I was
Yeah.
grinding out there. So yeah, that's kind of like the story behind my
Yeah,
nicknames.
yeah. I love the nicknames.
Mm.
And I guess the Rattler, is that you?
Oh, the Radler. I mean, it's also kind of like the beer, the German mix beer. It's like half lemonade,
Uh-huh.
half beer, which is called Radler. And Radler means in German also cyclist. So
Okay.
Okay.
it's kind of like a play with words, because I like to drink a Radler on a very hot day, because you
Yeah.
don't get too dizzy. You just like have a refreshment. But I
Mhm.
myself, I'm a Radler too. So that's why I thought about that name. And it came into my mind as well when I was like talking nonsense.
So our friend Erlen Dur, we've been putting up, just so all our viewers here, we've been putting up Erlen's Facebook his Instagram, and is also his YouTube. Let's do our friend a favor out there and let's give him a follow and give him a like and say hi and say he rocked the show, and make sure you go check out again. Like, again, we put those up and we'll put them up again for you as we're just about to go. And it's on Facebook, Erlen Dur, Instagram, and then also you can type it in and find them on YouTube. Let's support this guy. Do what Canadians do best. Do the please, sorry, thank yous, and let's make sure we give him the big A thing and make sure we give him a good follow up on that. So, Andre Erlen Dur, before we let you go, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy and excited that so many of my acquaintances and friends from Canada just like joined this show and just like writing comments. It's just amazing. I didn't expect that, and it just shows me like that I'm not just a tourist here. I really made friends all across the country, and
Yes.
they're not just hosts. They're not just hosts. I slept there. No, I'm still in contact with all of them. Some of them more, some of them less. But it just feels so great, and it's heartwarming that I found kind of like a home far away from home. It's a very like a cliche phrase, but that's pretty much what it is. And the only thing is a little bit sad that Canada is just so huge that it's hard to see all those familiar faces again. Without just crossing the country again for another half year, right? So it's like I might see one of those people, couples or friends, one day again. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm really happy that they joined, and yeah, thanks guys for your company on my trip.
The first, and you know what? Here's the thing. If us Canadians taken on to this Erlen Dur fan club, they pretty much gotta like the guy that runs the fan club. So kudos to you for being such a great person with Canadians out there. And they're not gonna follow. They're not gonna like you. They're not gonna comment if they didn't like you. So it's a top-notch effort, and it's a kudos to you, Erlen Dur, for being a good person. And I'm glad Canada treated you right, and I'm proud that Canadians and all the people who live in Canada that you ran across on your trip is good, and I'm very proud, and I'm so happy to have you on the show. And let's keep in touch. Let's not disappear.
Oh, for sure.
We'll definitely need to keep in touch.
Oh, for sure. And salute to all my friends in Canada, and yeah, we might see each other again one day.
Cheers.
Yep, Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
Okay, Erlen, thank you very much. We're going to let you go and enjoy our green room. And if you want to stick around, we could talk after we're done the show.
Okay, thanks. This 1 hour was way too short. I think
It goes by
goes like
fast.
nothing.
Yeah,
I know.
I was really nervous. I was answering your questions beforehand. Like recording the time and all that stuff. And now it's just like normal small talk, and I really love it. And I don't even have to use my notes or whatever. But this 1 hour,
Perfect.
I got there. It's already over. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's thank you. I mean, that's a
nothing.
huge compliment. I mean, it's come as you are, be who you are. As long as it's a family show, but other than that, it's good to meet you and discover a little more about Andre.
All right, then, yeah, good luck with your show further, and I'm sticking around a bit longer, and then we can have a chat a little bit more.
You know it. We'll talk to you in a bit, my friend.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Ciao, ciao.
Merci beaucoup.
Bilingual. It's a bilingual show.
So there you go there, Junior. We have to say a big shout out to our new friend and hopefully longtime friend, Erlen Dur, for joining us on our show. And we are pretty stoked. Now, again, I'm just going to throw it out there that I'm going to put at the bottom of our screen here with our Erlen Dur background is a couple of his ways to contact Erlen if you would like to give him a shout. And he seems like he is a pretty cool Canuck, and he's a pretty cool German, and he seems like an all-around good guy. And I followed all his pages, and I'm going to support this guy And we highly suggest you Canadians out there watching, please make an effort to watch him and support him. He's on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. And again, I'll just put up the name here and you can search Erlen Dur, and he does come up pretty easily on all those formats. And we have been putting up the thing. So that is it, Call. That's episode 38. We're pretty stoked. We had Erlen help us open up the year.
Awesome.
Please go to our social media. We have our lineup of guests for the next 3 months. The show's doing well, so well that we've got guests booked solid for 3 months. And we have some really cool ones, just as good and hopefully as entertaining as Erlen, because that definitely was entertaining and very informative. And I had a blast, Call. How about you?
Oh, I had a great time. And I
Yeah.
think before we go, can't forget to give a shout out to all Erwin's friends and fan club, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, thank you guys for treating them like, for showing them a good time, showing them how it is in Canada.
Yeah. And
You guys all deserve a special pat
thanks
on the
for
back.
tuning in the show, Call. Thanks for all of you coming. And hey,
Yeah.
we extend a welcome for all of you to join us, Crazy Canucks, every week. Tuesday, 7 p.m. right here on this channel. So, unfortunately, if we could, we'd have Erlen every single episode, so you'd all come back. But maybe once in a while, some of you will come back and grace us with your company, and come and support us in our efforts to share and talk about Canada, its culture, its people, its history. So,
Maybe
yep.
maybe we should have Erwin as a guest host.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. Next week, our special guest is Claus Rastad from Denmark. Okay. He is an innovation strategist, author of 30 books, and director of the College of Extraordinary Experiences. I promise you, everyone
No
watching
way.
today, come and check. This guy is a hoot, and he's
That
very
sounds
informative,
cool.
very well respected, does a lot of public speaking. But the best thing about it, he's like us. He doesn't go with the suit and tie, dry public speaking. He puts some excitement into it. He puts some humor into it, and he's full of information. So that will be next week, 7 p.m. Tuesday, same place, same time. We are your hosts, the Travel Talk Show, the co-founders of ehCanadaTravel.com. And we are nicknamed the Brothers of Tourism. We are proudly Canadian, proudly international. We love all our friends. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. And you can also follow our guest, Erlen Dur, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to
Yes.
Canada's Live Travel Talk Show. And Junior, you got anything to say before we let him go?
Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks again, everybody.
That's it.
So that's it. So again, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. And again, thank you to our guest, Erlen Dur. And we are so happy to have had him. And thank you for all of you tuning in. We want you to come back, come and join us, come and talk with us, put up comments. It's a great hour. It's a lot better than watching reruns and binging on Netflix. Why don't you binge on a bit of Canadian Canucks and do an hour binging every week with us? And
It's a lot of fun.
we would be happy to have you. So thank you again. Take care. Peace out, Canada. Love you guys.